Hi, this is Jordan with HM Ranchlands. We're here on 10 acres on Terlingua Ranch. This 10 acres is conveniently located very close to Terlingua Ranch Road. So if you're coming south from Alpine, as soon as you get to Terlingua Ranch Road, you take a left, and then when you take your second right, it's about 3 miles from the highway and you're here. This particular property has a good mix of flat areas and vegetation. Should make a really good spot for people who want to go camping or set up a camper. The roads are so easy to get to on this property. I think it'd be a perfect location if you wanted to have create some sort of hip campsites for people, or create an Airbnb cabin, something like that. You're not gonna have any problems with people driving in with regular vehicles. You definitely don't need all-wheel drive. You definitely don't need a high clearance vehicle. I definitely feel comfortable getting here in a regular sedan. You have really good views of 9 Point Mesa and Red Bluff and all the arroyos. You can't really quite see the Chisos because it's a little too close to the arroyos. It kind of gets blocked off, but it's still really nice out here. I don't know if you can hear it on camera, but there's a bunch of crickets chirping, and I saw a jackrabbit when I was walking the property, and we saw some mule deer tracks. So it might make a good place for hunting as long as you're really cognizant about your neighbors and making sure that you're being observant of basic gun safety. On the north side of the property is the most heavily vegetated area if you were going to do some hunting, and there's also an area that's clearly been cleared out in the past, and it's just like a large circle of gravel where you could easily set up a camper or even just set up a large scale tents or a campsite, which is really nice to have a spot that's already nicely cleared out and devoid of any of the vegetation. Something else that's really convenient about this location is because you have such easy access to the pavement, it's maybe 10 minutes max to get to the highway, and from there it's only about 4 or 5 miles to the Littleboro Country Store, where you have regular convenience store items. If you forget your toothbrush, you're not gonna be out of luck. They got beer, ice. They have Wi-Fi in case you don't have cell service out here. You're able to check in with people at home. Although there has been an increase in cell service out here. I don't have any service with T-Mobile, but people in the area have been saying they've been expanding it quickly, so you might not even need that Wi-Fi in the first place. There are some neighbors in the area, but I certainly wouldn't call this area crowded. There's a couple, it looks like, maybe some hunting blinds to the south. Pretty much wide open all the way to the west to the highway. And there's just 1 or 2 prefab buildings looking out to the east. But yeah, with all the vegetation, it feels very concealed and private on this property for sure. When you're sitting out at the campfire, you're not gonna be bothered by other people, seeing people driving by. If you haven't been out to Terlingua Ranch before, this part of Texas is one of the darkest night skies in the lower 48. It's really fantastic to see the stars at night. If you wanted to do some stargazing or astrophotography, this is a really great spot. From here, once you get to the highway, it's about 25 minutes to the park entrance at Big Bend National Park, which is obviously a big attraction in the area. So if you were going to have guests here that wanted to visit the park, it would be really easy for them to get to. Obviously, there's a lot of properties that are physically closer to the park, but the trade-off there is a lot of times the roads are really tough to get to, and you end up spending a lot of time trying to get to the highway in the first place. Versus here, maybe a little bit further north, but since you have access to the highway and you can blast down there at 75 miles an hour, you get to the park quicker than if you were further south and had a tough road to get through to get to the highway. It's kind of hard to find a plot that is this conveniently located. Being able to get right off the pavement and get to your property without trouble and zip around the ranch and get to the national park and the Terlingua ghost town is definitely the most attractive part of this property. Being part of Terlingua Ranch means that you'll be part of the property owners association. They maintain the ranch roads here and make sure that you have access to your property. But also at the ranch headquarters, they have a swimming pool, they have Wi-Fi, they have laundry machines, they have showers you can use. There's also the Bad Rabbit Cafe there at the headquarters if you want to get a burger, and being so close to the ranch road, it's going to make it easy for you to get down to the headquarters as well. The headquarters also has cabins that the public can rent, and there's also RV hookups. So if you have some people visiting that don't necessarily want to rough it here and tent camp, there's easy access to water and electric hookups for their RVs, and it'll be really easy to come down and visit the actual property. This property does not have any power poles on site, and I think the closest power poles that I saw may be close almost all the way to the highway. It is possible to talk to Rio Grande Electric and see if they have an easy way for you to get access to power here, but honestly I think the smartest and most convenient option would be to go the solar route, which many in the area do. Same thing with water. Drilling a well is possible, but in my opinion it's a little cost prohibitive for what you get. It'd be a lot easier to set up a tank and take advantage of the water delivery service. The cost per gallon, I would say, is very similar, if not cheaper, than the cost of drilling a well over time. Yeah, if you're interested in the property and you want something on Terlingua Ranch, but you don't want to have an inconvenient ride, this might be the perfect place for you. If you're interested, feel free to reach out in the comments below. Reach out on our website at hmranchlands.com, fill out the form, and we'll get right back to you. Or you can simply email us at hello@hmranchlands.com.